April is winding down and the weather is heating up. Today, the Yankees take on the Guardians behind nasty Nestor Cortez Jr., who struck out 12 in his last outing against the Orioles. My recap, your reaction coming up next. This is Yankees Game Night. Nothing like a walk-off.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Stuff that dreams are made of.
In the immortal words of the great philosopher Ice Cube, today was a good day. I know you guys like it when I rant, and honestly, a day like today was much more worthy of a rant if the Yankees had let that go than if they had lost maybe 10-0. They had this one, and then they gave it away, but ultimately, they take it back.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
So Nestor Cortez was so much fun to watch today. He works fast. The game moves quickly when he's on the mound. He's aggressive. He's funky. He's effective. I'm loving watching Nestor Cortez this season and really since last year. Early first inning, or easy first inning for Nestor. Great play on a pop-up in foul territory by Anthony Rizzo. And then he struck out Steven Kwan, who struck out twice today. Not easy to do. Yankees pitchers have handled him all right. And he didn't match up well against the left field wall either. More on that in a minute. Jose Ramirez made a nice play to rob Aaron Judge of a base hit in the bottom of the first. Every time I watch Cleveland, I come away more impressed by Ramirez. Offensively, defensively, he's just a really good player. Yankees should have made an effort to get him when they had a shot. Bottom three, Kyle Higashioka picks up a base hit to right field. That was his first hit in 926 at-bats. 926 at-bats. DJ promptly banged into a 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. Nestor made an unreal dive to the bag to beat Steven Kwan in the fourth. It's not often that an American League pitcher, in either league, actually now since the DH is universal, will be pitching with dirt all over his uniform. But that's exactly what we saw from Nestor Cortez. We actually got a quick voicemail from Lou Brown about Nestor Cortez and that play. Earmuffs if you're sensitive to language.
Nice play, Nestor. Don't ever fucking do it again.
Oh, that's for the Major League fans out there. Game was scoreless into the top of the fifth. Nestor hung a slider to Josh Naylor. He ripped it for a 2-run home run. Really the only mistake he made of the day. Joey Gallo smoked a hard single to left field in the bottom of the fifth. It's notable that he hasn't been pulling the ball as much lately. Might be working on something with Dylan Lawson. Who knows? IKF follows up with a clutch RBI single to put the Yankees on the board. Higashioka ties it up with a sac fly to make it 2-2. Nestor was done after 6 1/3 innings. Just one hit allowed. He was fantastic today. 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Another fantastic performance for Nestor Cortez. Donaldson, bringer of the rain. Bottom of the 7th, he hits his second home run of the year. Yankees go up 3-2. Hitting coach Dylan Lawson, second time we're mentioning him in this recap. He said that Donaldson was especially close to breaking out, and turns out he might be right. Loved the bat drop. Would be nice if we could get some of these home runs with men on base once in a while. That would be fun. You know, some crooked number home runs. Hicks singled, and Gallo walked to put 2 men on and knocked Quantrill out of the game, but IKF and Higashioka both struck out to end the inning. Ended up being a huge missed opportunity at that point. Higgy now batting 118. And Jeff with the super dono. Reminder to hold your donos until the recap is finished. Appreciate that. And then top 8. Guardians go on top. Another 2-run home run, this time off of Chad Green. Kind of a fat pitch. Bottom of the 8th, DJ extends his hitting streak to 10 games. He's like a vitamin lately. One a day. Rizzo took one the other way. Almost had an opposite field home run. Looked for a second like it was going to go out, but it ended up coming up just short and was caught on the warning track.
Oh, there goes gravity.
Donaldson walks to lead off the bottom of the 9th, and Tim LeCastro pinch runs, and for some reason, Hicks was up there swinging and hacking instead of letting him take second base. He had second base stolen, and Hicks was trying to hit the ball out of the park instead of letting him take second base and then getting him over to third with less than 2 outs, which would have been the smart baseball play. And then later on in the inning, they're giving him third base. They're giving LeCastro third base with 2 outs, and he didn't take it. The Yankees didn't send him, and they really should have at that point, because if you don't want to make the last out at third, I get that. But LeCastro was so fast that if there's a wild pitch or something, he could score from third and tie up the game. Luckily, IKF puts the team on his back. He doubles off the left field LED board to tie the game at 4. Gleyber Torres pinch hits and wins the game with a single to right field, and the Yankees have won 2 in a row.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
And that means we have to go with the belt winner for tonight. And it looks like we do have a leader by a significant margin. So we're going to go ahead and play the music.
Let's go. Belt winner.
It is IKF, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, with 43%. He actually hit 2 balls really well today. He hit one to the warning track that got caught. Or maybe might not have been the warning track, but it was pretty deep to left field. And he's not a power hitter, but he's really driving the ball, the last, couple of games here. Let's see. Lori C says, what's wrong with Green? Giving up too many home runs. I mean, it's always been a problem for his career. Luckily, the Yankees beat, they fought back and kind of got him off the hook there, Kobe Jeet says, isn't this Green's final season contractually? I think it is. It's weird. We just won. We just walked it off. Won the second game in a row. And the fans in the comments are ticked off about Green. We're instead of praising some of the great things in this game, Yankees fans are pissed. And that's why Yankees fans are so unique. I mean, we can never be satisfied. But if possible, because it's Saturday afternoon and I'm in a good mood coming off of walk-off, I would love to talk about the positive things from this game, and not that we almost gave it away. First of all, the Yankees are 9-6, 3 games over 500. They're up there at the top of the division with the Blue Jays. Blue Jays, I think, in first place. I don't know what the score is with their game today. Nestor Cortez pitching like an absolute ace. He's pitching fantastic. He shut down some good hitters. 1 hit allowed in 6 1/3 innings. And don't look now, but the Yankees have a damn good rotation. A damn good rotation. For, Garrett Cole's troubles aside, right? And he does have a 6+ ERA this season. I get it. He hasn't been the Garrett Cole that we expected or are used to. I maintain that he's going to come around. If he's healthy, Garrett Cole will be there. Severino has been lights out. He's got 4 legitimate strikeout pitches. The fastball, the cutter now, a slider, and a sick changeup. He's thrown a bit of a curveball now, too. And Nestor Cortez has been unreal. And Jameson Taillon has a 3.04 ERA. The pitching has been lights out. If only we could find a way to get more offense, and we saw it a little bit more today. Obviously, 5 runs, that's more than the Yankees have scored much at all this week. I think they scored 5 last Saturday, scored 4 yesterday, and in between a bunch of 1s, 2s, and 0s. Typically the Yankees box scores are like binary, 0-1, 0-1, 0-1. But you got to credit them for fighting back today. Ariadna says, I believe this is the 4th time Green has blown a lead for a win. What's wrong with this guy? Well, I was looking at his numbers before the game, I was reading a comment about how Mike King looks like 2017 Chad Green. And so I was like, wow, what were Chad Green's numbers in 2017? So I looked it up, and he was 5-0, and he had like 69 innings pitched and 100 strikeouts and a 1.7 something ERA. It was phenomenal. Just lights out. But since then, you could see that each year he gets a little bit worse. And he's 31 years old. He's 31 years old. Saul Belly says, Cleveland is not a bunch of chumps. That's a great win. I can't emphasize that enough.
All rise.
The guy that they just beat, this closer, Emmanuel Clase, throwing a 100-mile-an-hour cutter. Now, he beat himself a little bit by putting the leadoff batter on. You never want to walk the leadoff hitter, all those leadoff walks. And by the way, Quan ran really hard into that wall. I forget what the movie was. Was it The Natural? Where the guy ran right into the wall and ran through the wall and was like dead? Like, he hit that wall hard. You can't run through that. I don't know how much harder that scoreboard is than the old auxiliary scoreboard they had, but neither one of them could feel any good. Draven says, Cole still has the Leaf stuff. Dude just needs to get out of his head and locate his pitches. And I think you're 100% right. I think we haven't even seen the best of Garrett Cole as a Yankee yet. I think he's going to have a stretch this summer where he goes maybe like 2 months and just is filthy, just dominant. Because if you think about his time with the Yankees, 2020 was a weird year. He didn't really have much of a spring training, all the COVID stuff. And then last year, there's the sticky stuff thing in the middle of the season. He had a nice stretch in the middle. But this year, I think he's getting his garbage out of the way in the beginning, and he's going to go on one of those runs like he had with the Astros in 2019, I believe, where he won like 15 straight. That's my hope, anyway. I'm holding my my hopes that will happen. James G says, give Nestor a bat, and he'd probably mash better than half the lineup. Renaissance man. I just can't say enough great things about Nestor Cortez today. You don't see a lot of pitchers dive into first base like that. The man wants it. He's got what coaches will call want to. He's got the want to, and he's confident. Ariadna, great takes nightly, says Cortez is something different, out of this world. We should call him the Martian.
I was merely speaking extemporaneously.
Kobe G says Tim Anderson flipping birds, straw climbing walls. Yeah, so there was a little bit of an issue that we got to talk about at the end of the game, and it stinks to talk about this on a day where it was such a great win. So apparently the outfielder got into it a little bit with the Yankees fans out there in the bleachers. And if you were at the game and maybe you want to comment, you're probably not watching live because you're probably still trying to get out of Yankee Stadium, trying to get on the subway. But if you're watching this in the evening or tomorrow and you want to comment, I would love to hear, kind of what the inside view was on that, like what was being said from both sides. But ultimately it cascaded and there was some throwing of objects onto the field. Cascaded. I don't think that's the right word. It escalated. There we go. It escalated, and there was throwing of objects onto the field, which you can't do. I mean, we've seen that a number of times over the years. Yankees fans just get ticked off and throw stuff onto the fields. They were throwing cups and cans and bottles and batteries and all sorts of stuff at the Indians players during the walk-off. So much to the point that Aaron Judge had to come out and settle people down. So did Giancarlo Stanton. And we just can't do that. It's more fun to win and walk it off. We don't need to throw all the garbage and stuff. Frank Sinatra said the best revenge is great success. So let's win a World Series and then rub it in on Cleveland fans. That's what we got. Fritz Walter says Nestor flew like Superman. I'm loving the mustache. Mike Bragg says magic of the stash for Nestor. Draven says Mercado shouldn't engage with them. Should have ignored the fans. I mean, I'm sure there was stuff on both sides. I mean, there was bad people on both sides there. I'm sure that he probably could have ignored it. That's what they train you. I mean, everybody remembers that Daryl incident on The Simpsons where Bart Simpson's calling out Daryl, And Lisa says, it's okay. They're used to it. And he's sitting there crying. You just got to silence the fans. Engage the mechanism. Let's see here. Catherine Soros says, straw climbing up the wall. Fans won't forget. Yeah, I can't imagine wanting to go at New York fans. I just can't imagine it. It just doesn't seem like anybody could win that. But, hey, got to admire the man's brass ones to give that a try.
Balls of steel.
Saw Billy says, Nestor looked like he fell off a motorcycle. Yeah, you don't often see Yankees pitchers covered in dirt. I just thought that was interesting. Jordan says, I really wish we could get Nestor a win. I 100% agree on that. Let's talk about that for a second. So the win is a stat that's kind of falling by the wayside with modern baseball because a lot of times pitchers don't even go 5 innings, right? I'm an advocate of redefining the win. I think it should be up to the score person to decide individually each game which pitcher pitched the best for the winning team and credit that pitcher for the win. Maybe whichever pitcher had the most win probability added for that day. And that would actually bring meaning back to the win, Yesterday, Mike King didn't get did Mike King get a win? I don't think he did. But he added so much value to the game with his 3 shutout innings, and that doesn't always get recognized with a W. Nestor today, 6 1/3 innings of 1-run or 2-run ball, 1-hit ball. He probably deserved a win, but he didn't get one because of Chad Green. Now that's just kind of a scoring situation, a bookkeeping thing, but the scorekeeper should have the authority to award a win in a situation like that. Let's see here. Larry Marshall says, people still say the Sanchez trade was a bad idea. Look, I think that we're better off with real catchers. Now, I wish that Higashioka would hit a little bit more.
Sorry, could you say that again?
My watch is talking to me. It's a weird world. I wish that our catchers would hit a little bit more, but bringing in IKF was a good move. I mean, until Volpe's ready, I think he's really going to add a lot of value. I don't have his numbers up. Let me pull it up here. He's now hitting .298 with a .723 OPS, 2 hits on the day, 2 RBIs. He's got 4 doubles already. And that's something the Yankees needed more of last year. More extra base hits, things like that. Omar Cruz says he's never liked Chad Green. I mean, every pitcher has this arc in their career where for a while they're, at their best and then they begin to decline. And I think that Chad Green is just, the Yankees have been using him less. I mean, there's a reason that in big spots with the lead now, you're mostly seeing Clay Holmes, Mike King, Jonathan Loaizaga. You're not seeing much of Chad Green. And I think that's because the Yankees see the metrics and they see that, he's fallen off a little bit. He's basically a one-pitch pitcher at this point. I mean, he relies on the high spin rate fastball more than anything. But as you get older and that fastball loses a little bit of zip, it's not as effective. MRB Production says 2017 Green was great, and now he's washed. And I don't know if he's washed up, but I think he's become not the best choice in a close game. I would rather see Chad Green with like a 2 or 3 run lead, or obviously an even bigger lead than that. Ariel Lavi says Higgy needs to do better. He's a weak link. I think when we're talking about Higgy or any of the backup catchers, we have to look with a perspective of the entire game. The Yankees pitching has been phenomenal this season. Phenomenal. And part of that is they're getting calls. We're seeing great framing. We're throwing guys out on the bases. We're blocking balls in the dirt this year. That's a nice development. Haven't seen that for a while. So we have to look at them through that perspective, the prism of their entire contribution to the game, not just what they're doing offensively. And that's just something that we don't always see as fans, but the Yankees definitely have metrics on this. Woski Paulino says, was this our best lineup today? I like Hicks in the leadoff spot lately, but I can't argue with DJ in the leadoff spot. Judge at number 2, I like that. Rizzo splitting up Judge and Stanton, like that. I feel like Stanton maybe hits a little bit better when he's in the outfield. But yeah, I think this was probably the best lineup you can run out there on any given day right now. Maybe Torres starts hitting and that changes, but right now, yeah, I think that's a good take. That was pretty much our best lineup. So I'm gonna give you a little round of applause for that. Get a golf clap. Rolly says Higgy and Gallo are automatic outs. So Higashioka hitting 121, Gallo hitting 136. Combined, they're not even hitting 290. I just think it's it's only a matter of time before somebody gets going. I don't know if Higashioka is ever really going to be a big-time hitter. And so I'm not really expecting it. I mean, he hit 180 last year. He's in there to catch the ball. But we got to get some production out of left field. And I get that Gallo's a pretty good outfielder, but we have got to get something out of left field. At this point, I don't know what it would take to get Brian Reynolds. I think it would be pretty pricey. If you could somehow get him without giving up Volpe, I would do it. I would even include Dominguez for Brian Reynolds. He's pretty much the only player that I would trade the margin for. Mr. B says, what are your opinions on Boone's constant lineup changing? I think he's doing it for a reason. He's trying to keep guys healthy. And one thing I would like to point out to the Yankees fans who are very upset about this, one, we're 9-6. We're over 500. We're playing well. Yeah, the offense has been rough, but we're winning. And number 2, we haven't had many major injuries. Rortvedt came to the Yankees and he was already hurt. But, usually by now, by the end of April, we usually have like 2 guys on the IL. It's usually a tight calf and a tight forearm or a pulled wrist. It's either a leg thing or a psychological thing. You know what I'm talking about. It's, we're healthy. And so I think it's a necessary evil, and it's the way the game is changing. And I know there's a lot of people who they want to use the same lineup every day. They're disappointed when they go to the ballpark and their favorite player isn't in the lineup. I get it. But this is something that the Yankees have obviously decided is extremely important to keep everyone healthy. And so far, it seems to be working. Felipe Santana couldn't have said it better, says, more of that, please.
More of that, please.
All right, guys, have a wonderful Saturday. I'm going to go see that new Nick Cage movie, Huge Expectations or whatever it's called. I don't know. I'm just in the mood for a good comedy and a cold beer. I'm going to head out. I will see you guys next time. Taking tomorrow off. I've got my own baseball game, so next time I see you will be either Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember when the Yankees' next game is. I think it's Tuesday. Let me pull it up here. Yeah, the Yankees are off on Monday, so I'll probably have an episode of the Frieze on Monday or Tuesday, and then the Yankees take on the Orioles on Tuesday night, 7 p.m. in the Bronx. So I will see you between now and then. Bring your best voicemails to the number below, 718-899-1068, and I will see you guys next time. One more time from Mr. John Sterling.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Have a great weekend, everybody.